my mom's side of the family were like, why don't you find yourself a boyfriend? And I'm like, why don't you find yourself something to do with your life? Like, do I have embarrassing moments? Yes. Are we going to talk about them? Absolutely not. I get bored easily. I started noticing that about myself. Like, I had to come back to Juarez to find myself again, which is kind of like insane. And this whole time we were neighbors when I'm living in Alamrock and King, and we had a meet in Juarez. Isn't that crazy? I don't like needy men. I'm not someone you shouldn't be able to live without. Hi, friends. Hi. There. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Adriana, and today we will be doing a get ready with me. So if you guys are interested, stay tuned, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye. So anyways, I had this whole vision about a year ago, and this vision was to do my get ready with me, to have a whole production. And I had a whole production, but it was overwhelming. That's how I could best explain it. It was very, very overwhelming to it was too much. It was too much. And I didn't like to feel overwhelmed, especially when I'm supposedly doing something that I love to do, you know? So I was like, no, it just didn't work out. I shouldn't be overwhelmed. So I had a setup, but it was too much. It was too much. I had two boxes. I think they're called the light boxes, but the huge ones. I had my light. I had a full-on backdrop. I think that was it, but it was too much around me. It was too, the lights were just too hot. I feel like it was just intense. It was intense. And I did have a separate room to record, but it was just it didn't go. It was too much. And I'm not a person that likes to be in have a lot. I'm not cluttered. I don't like clutter at all, in general. So it took me, I sent all those things back to California. I was like, you know what? Take this. I sent it with my dad at the time. And then after that, I was just I need to revamp, figure it out, basically. And I did. Over time, I did have a ring light. And where are my brushes? Oh, they're right here. So I ended up buying these panel lights instead of buying the huge soft lights. I went again. I started re-strategizing. I got my panel lights, and that was it. It was literally panel lights, and then I was like, you know what? I have to make space in my room to be able to do it. So I did exactly that, and then. But somehow I was just kind of oh, we're gonna stop. I just wasn't, it wasn't there. Because I was just doing vlogs and whatever. I guess I was just vlogging, and I kind of just threw it to the side. And every time that I try to do a get ready with me, I would have microphone issues. And I'm like, what? When I started strategizing my equipment for these type of videos, I already knew how to get the DJI mics, but at the time I'm they're $300. So I ended up buying the Novo mics, and those microphones failed me. They were pretty affordable though. They were very affordable. I think I got them for $60, but yeah, no. So, affordable mics, but every time I would record, and I'm telling you, every time that I tried to record, that I was oh, let me just film a get ready with me or whatever, yeah, the sound would just cut off. And I want to say 2 weeks ago, I was oh, you know what, I'm gonna start filming again. Not thinking, literally, I was not thinking about the microphones, because I had this, I was already aware of the situation with the mics, but I had just literally forgot about it. I don't know. I wish I could explain what was going through my noggin. There you go. So I made a whole video, and I'm cool. I feel good. I feel great. I'm back, child. the audio was like horrible. Like it was in and out, and it was just not doing anything for me. And I was like, well, maybe it has potential. Like I still try to see potential. Yeah, it wasn't working. So I had to order my DJI Max. I was just like, you know what? Lucky me, because they had a sale and I got the mics for like for way cheaper than what they originally are. So I was like, yes, thank you, Jesus. And now we're back. Now we're back, and the sound is back, and I'm excited. So anyways, that was a backstory on my little setup. Now we're like full complete without any lack. That's how I could best describe it. So let's get to know me now that we're back in action. My name's Adriana. And I live in Juarez. Not because I live in Juarez. I was born in Juarez. I was raised in the Bay Area. I love the Bay Area. And I am waiting in Juarez as my pardon gets approved, God willing. So I'm just living life for now. Honestly, it sounds fun, but it has not been fun. Okay, it's probably been like one of the toughest moments in my life. Yeah, it has, and I'm not gonna front. Like, I know my vlogs may look fun and exciting, and yeah, it took me a long time. It took me like 3 years to get back to myself. Not even. I was already like freaking. It was a lot. Okay, it was a lot. So yeah, now we're just getting back to what it is that we're doing. And yeah, let's not talk too much about it. So anyways, I ended up here in Juarez. I want to say it was, oh child, I hit my 4th year this year. And it's taken me a long time to get back to the States. Okay, I hired an attorney, and I fired the man. I fired him. I'm not going to talk bad about him because I don't want to give people my energy. Okay, we're practicing on keeping our energy to ourselves and not give it to people. But anyways, I fired my attorney. Basically, he made me waste. When did I get 22? I hired him December of 22. By December of 23. Yeah. It wasn't until December of 23. No, just kidding. When did I find out? I found out in 2024 that my paperwork was never sent. And I low-key remember, but I low-key don't. So this attorney never sent my paperwork. And I had to fire him because it was just like bad. It was horrible. Like, not in like, oh my God, horrible, like the worst thing that could have happened to me. But it was just like, sir, you know, I talked to my sister about this a long time ago when it happened. And I told her, like, you know, I'm a very smart person, like when it comes down to like legal stuff. Like, I'm not really like someone you can fool. Before I got to Mexico, I used to work property management, and we used to do a lot of paperwork. So I'm pretty good at doing like paperwork and paying attention to like the small details. So I'm just like, you can't really fool me, right? So this guy, he was just kind of like wasting my time. And I know maybe like it wasn't only me, right? And I told my sister, well, you know what, like I was doing my best to be graceful and just like, but I was really pissed. I was real mad. But I was telling my sister, I'm like, dude, like, imagine I'm not the only one who needs help getting back home. Like, there's people who go to these attorneys with full-on trust. Like, my life depends on you. Like, get me back the right way, you know? And I was telling her, and I'm like, there's poor people that pay this man money. And if he did that to me, he's doing it to other people, you know? So, like, that was just kind of like a relief for me, that I was like, I'm able to fire him. I'm able to basically do it on my own. So that backed me up a good year, almost a year and a half. So we had to do the paperwork, me and my sister. And then now we're just waiting for my pardon to be approved. I'm very grateful for this experience though. Like, there's no doubt that I'm like not grateful for it, because this experience has made me grow. This experience has made me grow in like so many different ways. Like, you know when they say like things happen so you can get closer to God? This is one of the things that had to happen to me so I can grow closer with God. So basically, I've been here. I was already supposed to be back home. If we're being honest, like, I should have been back home probably like this year. I would have been back home, or the last year. But because the attorney I had hired didn't do his job, I backed up a year and a half. So with that being said, you know, I forgave that man. I forgave him because I'm like, I'm not about to carry all that. Okay. And even talking to you guys about it, it feels kind of weird. Like, why am I talking about it? So anyways, I live in Juarez. So after that, I had to like literally live here. I'm still literally living here. But you know, I had to really be like, okay, are we going to be here, be miserable, be depressed, to be like upset about it, or are we gonna like make the best out of it? And that's the day actually when I realized, I'm like, okay, God, like, I'm done, because if like I'm being pulled back, it's for a reason. And maybe I wasn't living in purpose, right? I was like, well, maybe that's why the attorney failed me and wasted a year, because in that whole year I was supposed to be in purpose. So with that being said, what was that, Chad? So with that being said, I reached a point in my life where I was like, I'm over it. Like, I'm done trying to live things my way. I'm done. I'm just done. So I had to find myself again. If I'm not saying that being in Juarez is bad, but people do make it seem like it's like the most scariest thing in the world. No joke. It's actually not as bad as you would think. One, because I'm a homebody. I do everything that I can to stay at home. And two, you know, I don't associate myself with people. Like, if we're being honest, like, I'm living life for myself. That's like the best way that I could explain it. Like, I don't have a group of friends. It's me and my dogs. And rarely I'll hang out with my nieces and nephews. But that's like depends. Like, it really doesn't happen, you know? But I'm just like to myself. So it's not as bad as people think. Obviously you have to be wise about the choices you make and where you go and whatever. But it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. If anything, living in Juarez has taught me a lot of humbleness, like how to be humble. There was not 1 ounce in me of humbleness, if we're being honest. But that's what it's taught me. I found myself in Juarez. It's like a little corny saying that I tell myself. I'm like, I literally had to come all the way over here to change my life around for the better. And look at me. Like, I don't regret this experience at all. Like, there's just not one thing, like, I know, like, I don't regret it. The people that know me, just, they know that it's like, oh, she's not the same. She's not the crazy, she's not the crazy girl anymore. No, and I didn't even realize that I was like this girl, right? I was a crazy girl. But that was because I was like very unhealed. Like, do I have embarrassing moments? Yes. Are we going to talk about them? Absolutely not. And sometimes things like this have to happen in order for you to like really analyze your life and be like, wait, what was I doing? What was I thinking? Like, no. And then when you start, like, for me, it hit me that I'm like, oh, like, I really did that. Now, if I had a daughter, would I want her to be acting like me? Absolutely not. So that was one thing that like really hit me. That I'm like, no. If I ever had a daughter, I wouldn't want her to be acting like the way that I used to be. Or if I had a son, I wouldn't want him to be dating crazy girls the way his mother was. Okay? Cut it. Like, that's it. Point blank, period. I started doing my YouTube channel here in Juarez. And even before, I wish I had that footage. Like, that summer of 2021, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do YouTube. I bought myself my camera. And then I'm recording because I had already had the immigration letter or whatever that I had my appointment. And I was making like footage, like, okay, I have to get ready, like this and that. And everything got deleted. I don't know what happened to it. I think it got deleted when I got here. I don't know what happened, honestly. But it got deleted. So yeah, I basically found myself like, it was so uncomfortable. Also the language barrier. Like, I know that I know Spanish, right? Like, obviously, like, I grew up with my mom and my dad, and we spoke Spanish at home. And obviously when we went to school, we spoke English. But when I tell you that when I got to Mexico, my Spanish, no, it was embarrassing. It was really embarrassing. Like, the embarrassment. Like, I'm not kidding. Because my Spanish was like, what is she saying? And I'm like, what do you mean? So I had a friend, and I was talking to him, and I told him like, hey, you know, he was like, how do you do it, like, speaking Spanish, right? Like, we were talking about that. And I was like, oh, my niece, I bring her along with me all the time, and I'm like, she translates for me. And we laughed because he was like, see, he goes like, sometimes we're like people move to different countries and they have their kids translating for them. So it's like common for us to move to the United States and we have to translate for our parents, and then you come back to your roots and now it's like you have your niece translating for you. And I was like, oh yeah. So it was basically that. Like, my niece really translated, and like, she taught me more professional Spanish, and she kind of learned English from me because she was really stubborn in learning English, but whatever. So that's like how I kind of like just learned more authentic Spanish. Okay, not like my mother Spanish that I grew up in, you know. So that's how I kind of started. And then I started learning more Spanish when I started meeting people. Like, I started going to the church, and obviously it was hard for me because the people at church, okay, so I started going to the church and I started meeting people, right? And then when the pastor is talking like about scriptures, or be like, oh, if you have your Bibles, like turn to page whatever, like, my Bible's in English and he's talking in Spanish, so I'm reading it in English but I'm hearing it in Spanish. And that kind of helped me also like understand. It was kind of weird, but because I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to lose my English. I knew I wasn't going to lose my English, but I just feel like understanding Spanish and then knowing English, you know, like, I really wanted to not, you know, to understand it. So that also helped me, like, just putting it into practice. And then if my neighbors were like, oh no, that's not how you say it, like, you say it, I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know what I mean. So that was really helpful. That I was able to surpass the language barrier, because I'm like, like even up to today, I still struggle. I still struggle. But at this point, I'm like, I don't care, because I feel like ever since I got here, and I'm not saying like, I'm not trying to sound ignorant, but like I see more people coming to Juarez, and maybe it's social media, maybe it's like people that are actually sharing their stories, because I know that this is not the first time it happens. But then I'm like, oh, I'm not the only one that speaks crappy Spanish, you know, like I'm not the only one. But that light bulb didn't hit until I started meeting people. So then I started making friends. I wouldn't say like, oh, like I'm hella like out there. No. I'm not out there like you think I am. So like I met my tattoo artist when I literally just got here. I met him, and he told me like, oh, you know, like he used to live in Colorado and whatever. He ended up here in Juarez as well. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not the only one. So anyways, I'm like, oh, and then he was just like, you can always come by. Like he was really kind, but I was like very depressed, and I'm like, yeah, I just didn't go. Like I was really, really depressed. And I didn't feel like, I don't know, I just wasn't in the right space. So, I met him, and recently this year I started hanging out, like going to the shop. There's a video on that. And then, I met so many, like, I met him, and like I met other people, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, and they speak English too. So then I'm like, oh my gosh, I found my people. I found my people. I really did though, because I'm like, I feel so relieved finding people like that. I'm not talking Spanish and they're just looking at me like, what is she saying? No, it was like my people. Like we all have the same background. We were born here, taken to the United States when we were like 7 or 8, and suddenly we ended up back here. And to me it was like crazy, because I'm like, I was just like, I'm not the only one, right? And then it was crazy. Another little story, I tend to take the Uber a lot. Like when I go to places like Abby, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna catch an Uber. I don't drive. I haven't driven in a very long time, and I'm not complaining. So I'm like on the Uber, and my Uber, I'm like, oh, I had forgotten something in the house, or I think I had forgotten to lock the door. Something happened where the Uber had to drive me back. And then he was like, he kind of noticed that like, oh, like who forgets their house keys or something, right? And he goes, like, he tells me, he goes like, oh, like, where are you from? And I'm like, oh, well, I'm from here. And they're like, no, you're not from, I am from here. I was born here. But apparently I like to mess with people. So when they're like, where are you from? And I'm like, I'm from here. And they're like, you're not from here. I'm like, I am. I was born here. And now I'm back. Like, don't tell me I'm not from here. Like, I'm from here, John. Where are you from? And he goes like, where were you raised? And I'm like, I was in California. And he's like, where? And I was like, San Jose. He goes like, me too. And I'm like, shut up. Chal. When I was in Alum Rock and King, girly, okay, I lived in Alum Rock and King for a really, like, a good chunk of my life. He lived in King and Story. We were basically neighbors. And I was shook, because I'm like, we were neighbors. And this whole time we were neighbors when I'm living in Alum Rock and King, and we had to meet in Juarez. Isn't that crazy? Like, I'm still shook till this day. Like, I'm never gonna forget that story. I'm like, oh my goodness, homeboy, like, what? You mean to tell me we were neighbors? Like, and I just met you now. Yeah, it's crazy how the universe works. Because like, I never met him. Never met this guy until I made it to Juarez. Just to find out we were in the same hood. Well, it's not the same hood. Alum Rock and King is separate than Alum and Story, like, but it's still the same area. So yeah, that was crazy. So as soon as I started meeting friends and getting out there, I was like, oh, okay, like it's not bad. So I met my friends from the shop, had a lot of fun, and then after I started like rediscovering myself, like what do I like, what do I not like, what are my hobbies? So I started getting into running. This year I ran my first 5K. It was a Juan Gabriel one, and I was just like, I'm gonna get out there because I have nothing to lose. I don't. So I signed up for this 5K with two months of running. Backstory on me and running. I hated running my whole childhood, and I finally realized why, because I broke my nose when I was, I want to say 9 years old. And after that, I didn't realize that my nose, I can't breathe through my nose. Most of the times I'm breathing through my mouth. So then I'm like, ugh. And then after that, my lung collapsed. I want to say 2018 and 2019. Yeah. No, just kidding. 2 lung collapses in 2018. So after that, me working out, gym, cardio, no, I didn't work out. I want to say I was working out until like 2019, like 2020, before the pandemic. I started to go to the gym, but I still had no idea of what I was doing at the gym. But I would like box because my ex was like a boxing trainer or whatever. So like, and he had boxing, his background was boxing. Okay. So I would train with him because I was also going through like a grieving stage. So I had to manage my emotions. So I started boxing with him, but I wasn't running. I wasn't like heavy lifting because I was like super paranoid about my lung. And just the recovery of a lung collapse, it's intense. And I took it like a champ. Like by the week after, I was already working. I was already like moving around just because I didn't want to, like, I didn't know what it was to rest. So as I'm like finding myself again this year, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get back to running. It was like super like out of it because I'm like, I get bored easily. I started noticing that about myself. Like I get super bored really easily. I'm going to my local gym and I'm like, no, like the environment is like making me cringe. Like I got to get out of here. I went to World Gym. World Gym is a really good gym, like here in Mexico. I love World Gym. So I started going to World Gym, and then I realized I'm like overexhausting myself at World Gym. Okay. Like I'm walking 2 miles, and then I'm running a mile at the gym, and then I'm doing strength. Like I was overexhausting myself. I stopped going to World Gym. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come back to my local gym, and then, which I did, and then I said, oh, but you know what, I'm gonna start running. So I just started running to get out of the house and like just to get a new vibe, you know, like I wanted just to see different people, and you know, running outside is different than being at the gym and running at the gym. So I was like, fine. I went to the track here. We have a track, and it's like, honestly, it's pretty cool because at that track they have like boxing, Zumba, gym, soccer. Like it's a whole like momentum, and it's good because it's all for the community. So I started running, and I ran with a friend, and then I realized how bad I don't like running with people because I'm like, no, it just wasn't for me. And then I started running with myself, and I'm like, I love this. Like I love running with myself. And for the first time in I don't know how many years, I felt like free. I cried. The first time that I went to the track by myself without my friend didn't go with me, I cried. I texted my brother, and I'm like, you don't understand what I feel right now. Like I felt like a release. Like I felt like it was just like more an emotional toll on me because of my lung. Like after my lung collapse, I didn't ever see myself running again. I didn't see myself working out again. I didn't see it. And when I started doing these things, I'm like, oh my God, like I can do these things. Like it's over. Like my lung's not gonna collapse ever again. Like it's done. I healed. Like let things be what they need to be. So I messaged my brother. I'm like, you don't understand. Like I'm over here in tears. Like it was such a beautiful moment for me. So I signed up for a 5K. And I'm like, what's a 5K? 3 miles. And my brother's like, you signed up for 3 miles, dude? He goes like, how are you going to run? Nobody had hope in me. My mom goes like, you signed up for a 5K? She goes like, well, all I'm going to say is good luck and you're going to do great. And she goes like, but I know you're not going to do well, she said that. How did she say it? She said, oh, good luck, but... He's like, but she said it like, I know you're not capable of running that, but we're still gonna wish you well. And I'm like, when she said that, I'm like, all right, girl, I'm gonna show you. So then I signed up for this. Everybody was just like doubting me. And when I say everybody, it was like my brother and my mom. So I go run, I run this 5K. And I signed up for it because it was free. I'm like, I'm not paying to go run. So I go. And then I did 3 miles in exactly 40 minutes. And I don't know, like, I did a pretty good job. For first time running a 5K without stopping, I did a pretty good job. Like, I also almost cried. Because it was just an emotional thing for me. The fact that it's like I didn't see myself doing these things. If I would have stayed in California, you would never see me running or working out. I had to come back to Juarez to find myself again, which is kind of like insane. So then, yeah, I started running, and I love to run. I haven't done any other race because I'm like, I don't want to run for fun, you know? I want to run, if I'm going to do another race, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do it because there's a purpose for me to do it. Right? Like, I'm not doing it just for shits and giggles. Like, there has to be another, like, reason. So, there's been some races that I've been looking into here in Juarez. They do races that help different, like, what are they called? Nonprofits. Recently, there was one that was a nonprofit for, I want to say kids, like adults, kids with autism. That one I couldn't make it because I overexhausted myself. It was that month where I was telling you guys that I overexhausted myself. So I was like, I didn't do it. I didn't get a chance to do it. There's another one coming up. I don't know exactly why, but I know that they're helping a nonprofit, but I just don't have the information right in front of me. So, but that one, I may do it if I'm not late. Okay, because I forgot what was the date on that. So yeah, that's why I want to run. I want to run for a purpose, not for I'm paying and here's their medal, you know? Like, it's nonsense. I could run by myself and I don't need a medal because I already know I'm a good runner. So then I started running, and then I go to the gym. Like, I find hobbies like that I can do. I'm gonna get into horseback riding. Okay, that's gonna be my next hobby on the list. Because I said I do get bored really, really easily. Okay, I got bored of the gym, and I haven't gone to the track because I got bored of the track, of running in the track. Just like running, it's like running in circles, and I needed something different. Like, I needed to, it's different for me because when I run out in the streets, I feel more free. I feel like, oh my goodness, like I feel amazing. And I run in the truck and I'm like seeing the same people. And this week I came to the realization that I got bored of my local gym. Like, I'm bored. Like, I don't have like an enthusiasm to go to this gym. It's like I see people in the same routine every day, same routine, same time. And it gets boring. It's like, I want something new. It almost feels like I'm not, like I'm done. It feels like I'm not, like I'm about to shift. I'm about to quantum leap. That's how it feels like I'm about to quantum leap, because I'm like, I go there and I'm like, I don't fit in that. Like, it's not that I don't fit. I don't fit in. I don't fit in, that's one. But that's nothing new. But when I go, it's like, you know that puzzle you're trying to force that is not meant to be there? That's how I feel. Like, I'm not, like, I'm already done. Like, I'm just waiting for God to be like, here's your pardon, get out of here. Literally. So right now my running, I switched it up. I started running from the border to Chamizal, and I'm not mad about it. Like, it's really good. But something was missing. Something was missing, and the thing that was missing to that run is my dog. Okay, so I have a dog. Her name's Lulu. And we are in the process of bringing in our other dog, and his name is Bartholomew. He's such a beautiful dog. Like, Lulu's a beautiful dog too, right? Like, she's a Doberman mix, but Bartholomew, he's a big dog. Like, one thing about being a woman and having a big dog is that nobody will get close to you, and it's like my safety, my safety net, honestly. That I'm able to do things and nobody will get close to me because I have a huge dog that actually protects me. Like, this dog does not let anybody get close to me. And if somebody that doesn't know, like, get close to me, like, he'll start barking and, you know, being defensive. So I'm in the process of getting Bartholomew to go with me because he actually is a running dog. He's a big dog. And I already ran with him here around the area, and he stays with me. So I'm like, perfect, we can take him. And I wouldn't take Lulu. The only reason I won't take Lulu is because she's not aggressive. She's just doesn't like other dogs. Does that make her aggressive? So yeah, it's difficult for me to take her to like public places because she starts like barking at people. I obviously, like, when I used to take her to the park, she was a really good dog. But there's things that she's not exposed to. Like Bartholomew, he's exposed to people, dogs, and like he's friendly and he gets along with other dogs. But this one here, she takes everything like very defensively. Like, she'll kick the dog. Like, in our neighborhood, the way that I see dogs be, it's like they have their own block, like their area that they don't come across. Kind of like the cholos back in the day. Like, you can't come to my hood. That's the same thing with dogs. So when dogs try to like come by, she kicks, like, she'll start barking at them. Or even when people come near the house. So Lulu is basically my house guard. And Bartholomew, he's my personal guard when we're outside, like when we're going somewhere. So now I'm gonna start taking my second dog. Okay, we're in the process of bringing him in because it's a whole thing. It's like a shift. We're in the process of getting him vaccinated and getting his harness, his leash, so we can be able to go run. And we can go take him. So that's like what we're working on right now, like getting the dog with me. And it makes it more fun, honestly. It makes it more fun. Like, I don't have to go to the track and just be running in circles. I'm running in the streets with my dog, you know? And then we're working on that. And I'm planning on going to learn how to ride a horse, child. Yeah, horseback riding. I think I have a reason why I want to horseback ride, and that is because I went horseback riding once. I got on the horse, took a picture with it, and that was it. Like, I want to ride a horse. Like, cowgirl, like real cowgirl. Because I want to get over my fear of heights. I didn't know I had a fear of heights until I got on that horse. I looked down and I'm like, yeah, unpleasant, very unpleasant. So that's like my next thing on my hobby list. And I want to learn real Spanish, like real, authentic Spanish. Yeah, like I want to learn real Spanish. For that, I want to get myself like a Spanish. I have a theory that I can get myself a Spanish dictionary and pick a word each day, like a very like smart word, and start from there, you know. I don't know if I'll like join a class or something, like maybe find like an online class for like professional Spanish, but that's also like, but that's not like my main priority. I think my main thing right now is going to run with the dogs and getting the dogs in alignment so we can start running. Then we'll just go on to the next and to the next. But it's honestly like it's fun. It's fun getting to know myself and like what I don't like, and what like my values. I think that is also a like super important thing that I got to learn about myself this year. No joke, because I'm like, let me figure this out. Let me figure this one out. So, in order for me to like align with my hobbies, the momentum, even my YouTube channel, like no joke, I had to really find my values, my self-worth, because I realized that I didn't have any values. I didn't have any like self-worth. I've always been the type of person, I'm like, I always knew what I wanted in life. I knew what I wanted in a relationship. I knew what I wanted. Like, I knew exactly what I wanted, and I was never gonna negotiate. That was what I knew, right? That I was just like not willing to negotiate. And I knew what I wanted, but I didn't really like have values as a woman, like, and that really like opened my eyes. But it's crazy, when I started to realize that, doors shut and doors opened. So I don't know, like I learned, this was I want to say this was in December, like as I'm like doing shadow work and like healing, because I'm like, what else do I have time to, like I had so much time in my hands, but I'm like, it's time I really heal. Like I really heal, I really let go and move on with my life, like start life again, you know, start living. So I started getting to know myself, making a list of like things that I'm not willing to negotiate with people. And I'm not saying in well, this applied for everything. Relationships, friendships, like, you really telling me that I'm gonna settle for a man who's very minimal, a man who does not know how to communicate? Like, I wasn't about to do that anymore. Or like, I would attract these men who were very like, yeah, like they would tell me everything I wanted to hear, but their actions were very embarrassing. And I was just like done with it. I was just like, no, like I truly deserve more. Like my worth was very like, I realized I'm like, I'm actually a pretty amazing person. And it took for me to realize that. Like, people could be like, people close to me were like, oh my gosh, like my sister would tell me, she's like, you're such a sweet person. She goes like, but you put a front, like you're like this tough girl, but deep down inside, you're like very loving and very sweet. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. You don't know me. Yeah, she was she was right all along. But it took for me to know that about myself, you know, not for my sister to tell me like what a great person that I was. So then I started noticing this. Like, I'm settling for this relationship. I'm settling for this friendship. I'm settling for these people around me who really don't have good intentions. People who see me as, oh, you're weak. You know, and that's not the people who you want to have with, because those are the type of friendships that you end up ghosting. And I ghosted so many people, like, because I was just like, no, it doesn't make sense. So it came down to that. It came down to, well, like, I know I deserve a way better. Like, I deserve to have great friendships, you know, to have great people in my life. So it was super uncomfortable, because I'm like, I'm in a relationship, but like I'm dating somebody who I thought like was a one. And God said, like, child, like, look at your worth and look what you're getting from this person. And I'm like, yeah, you know, see, it doesn't add up. And I had to make the uncomfortable choice to like walk away and like choose myself. Yeah, it was very uncomfortable, because if it was up to me, I would have stayed. Very blindly, I would have settled. But I'm glad that like I didn't. I'm glad that I walked away. And yes, I had my moments where I'm like, oh, is this the right thing? Like, oh my goodness, like, are you sure, God? And sometimes I had my moments where I'm like, no, but I miss this person. No, girl. Like, I really like was probably in a serious warfare with myself. But that was just because what was that? That was only because I didn't know my value as a woman, and I didn't know my self-worth. And it's unfortunate, because a lot of people don't see that in themselves. They don't see their value, and you only attract people who are not, they like people who don't wish you well. So for me, I was just like, oh, it was unfortunate, but I'm like, if it's meant for me, like, it'll be meant for me, right? So not only did I leave that situation, but even like being here, right? Like having these, like, I met people and I had friendships. I'm like, no, like, this doesn't align. Like, this is not who I want to hang out with. This is done. Like, I'm done with this. Like, I'm not settling for this. I don't have like too many friends here. My only friends right now are the guys from the shop. And I used to hang out a lot with my sister-in-law. So I had to come down to those conclusions, you know, finding my values, finding my self-worth. So then right now, child, my phone is on do not disturb. My phone is on do not disturb. Do not disturb. All day, every day. All day, every day, my phone is on do not disturb, because I found peace. And I am strict with myself. I am so strict, child. I'm very strict, and I'm fine with being strict. People will be like, you're so, like, even my mom was like, you're doing too much. Like, you're isolating yourself from the world. My friends from the shop tell me, like, you're just so to yourself. Like, get out. And I'm like, no. I get out when I go do my hobbies. That's the time when I'm out. But if you're saying like, oh, get out, go have fun, that's my fun. Like, that is my fun. My fun is doing things that make me better, that make me healthy. If I'm spending time with my dog, like, that's my fun. If I'm doing YouTube videos, that's my fun. I hang out with my aunt. That's me having fun. My fun is not going out and drinking and going crazy. Like, been there, done that, and I get to move on. You know, it's not like, oh my goodness. No, child, it's long gone done. So I used to get so many comments, like, especially my mom's side of the family, they're like, why don't you find yourself a boyfriend? And I'm like, why don't you find yourself something to do with your life? Yeah. That's kind of mean, but I'm like, you shouldn't have asked. Like, don't put your 2 cents where they're not being asked. So, oh, I love this lipstick. It's the best lipstick I've ever bought. This is Chanel. That's my fun. Like, my fun is not having a boyfriend. My fun is not going out and drinking. Like, my fun is just like finding myself and, you know, enjoying, like being light, being at peace. So my phone is on do not disturb all the time. All the time. And, you know, I think it was tough on my family. It was obviously tough having me here. I'm the baby in my family. My older brother was living in Juarez, obviously, and we lost him to a senseless act of violence. So for me to come back here, my whole family was just like in shock, in serious shock. So like, my mom's worried about me, my dad's like worried, my sister's tripping out because now everybody has to come back here where we wanted to run away from. Like, we would never come back here. I would have never come back here. Like, I was just done. I'm like, I hated this freaking town. I was like, I'm looking for something. I just hated it. Like, I would have never in my life came back here. I probably would have lived so full of resentment. And now I love it. Now I love, the people are nice. Like, I guess it's just like my entire change as a human being, you know? What am I doing? So, but it was difficult on my parents. It was difficult on my mother, especially on my mom, and just having PTSD. It was also difficult for me. I'm not going to say it wasn't, because I had PTSD to the core. I couldn't explain it. I don't wish it on anybody, but walking on the streets, like having to find myself, like if I was going downtown, I'm like wearing a hoodie, like I'm just like, I didn't know the circumstances. I was just paranoid. I would hear something and it's just like, it was really tough, but I faced it. Like, I literally faced it, you know, where I'm like, yeah, you know, this doesn't scare me. And I started to get different perspectives in life and people I would meet that made me feel grateful about the life that I have. But that's like, those are like different experiences for like a whole nother video. But it was just like, it was a difficult, like, I'm not gonna say it was like the easiest things now, because you guys can see like the best of me. You're like, oh, she's having fun, she lives in Juarez, like, and people have really bad misconceptions about Juarez. So did I, child. But it's not bad. It's not bad. Okay. It's not bad. Once you align yourself, you're like, oh, see, this wasn't that bad. And I actually found myself here. So I can't really complain. And that allowed my siblings, my mom, like, now that they see me doing all this stuff and like, like even my vlogs, they're just like, they're a little shook. But they're not worried anymore, you know? They're not worried about me anymore like they used to. Like, and it was when I'm like trying to heal, and then my mom would be like, oh my God, what are you doing? I saw in the news, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, child, shut up. And I would have to be very, I would say upfront. I would have to be upfront with my family, because I'm like, dude, stop watching the news. I don't even watch the news. That's because that wasn't doing it for me. Like, watching the news would just pull me back. So I'm just like, whatever, you know, like I had to move on from that situation, find myself again. And now it's just like, I get to live life again. I get to have this experience to live life by myself. I start finding myself. I start letting go of people left and right. I see things differently. I see relationships differently. I see it all differently. And I love the time I get to spend with myself. I love the time I get to be with my dogs. And I love having my phone on Do Not Disturb. My life literally shifted. Now I have different priorities. If a man is to come into my life, John, if a man is to come into my life, he has to fit in like a puzzle. And I can identify when a man is serious in like the first conversation. I can identify like, oh, this is for me, this is not for me. So the reason being is because now that I have my own stuff going on, now that I am just like my true self, if somebody is to come into my life, I can't stop doing my hobbies. I can't misprioritize my dogs, my YouTube channel, me making vlogs, and God. Like, that's one thing I said. Like, I told God, I was like, God, listen, okay? If one day I meet the man of my life or whatever, my husband, that's fine. That's totally fine. But I said, God, I will never in my life put a man before you. Like that, like, yeah, no. I can't do that. So I've dated men who were very needy. One who is like very needy. And I don't like that. I don't like needy men. Because you don't need me. Okay? You don't need me. I'm not someone you shouldn't be able to live without. And you are not somebody that I can't live without. It's like not being attached to people. That's one thing I learned. But that's one of the qualities that I'm very strict with. Like, if you're gonna come into my life, you're not gonna disrupt what I have going on, Chad. Like, you gotta have your own stuff. So we don't clash, so I don't get irritated by you, so I don't ghost you, you know? So yeah, that's one thing. And I know I am aware that nobody's perfect. I'm aware that, like, I'm not perfect and I'm not gonna meet the perfect man in a shining armor. Or maybe I am. But, you know, I am. One day I will meet a man that will align with me. Like, we'll just click. It's like a puzzle that comes together, and that's like, oh, I know that he's the one. Because it's not like, oh, he needs me. He doesn't need a woman, but we share our lives together. And also it's because my lessons I've learned in life. You know, I've learned a lot. Believe it or not, I've learned a lot from my mistakes. And when I talk, like, I would talk to my mom, and I'm like, Mom, like, what do you mean? Like, I would never. It's funny because I have a list, and I'm very strict. Now I'm strict. When it comes down to men, I'm strict, child. Like, I'm strict with friendships, I'm strict with relationships. But when it comes down to men, my own life experiences have made me very strict, but also seeing the way that my dad was. Okay, the way that my dad was with my mom is something that, like, no. I would never be with a man that would mistreat me, disrespect me. So I'm like, no, this is not what I'm bringing with me. Like, this is, like, I'm smart enough to not have to deal with that. So anyways, you guys, yeah, it's literally like I found myself again, and I'm so glad. I'm grateful every day. I could cry every morning that I like get into alignment. I get so grateful that I could cry. Like, I could cry, and just the things that God has really shown me and done for me through these last years that I've been here. Oh, and all of this just happened this year. That just happened this year. Like, this was a year of do we call it rebirth, or do we call it, like, risen? Adriana has risen to the newest version of herself. Yeah. That's exactly what happened this year. Yeah, I was just tired of living the way that I used to live, being emotionally unstable, being crazy. I wouldn't say crazy, okay? I wouldn't say crazy. I was not crazy. I was just trying to find myself. But yeah, I mean, it's not easy, but it gets done. And when it's done and when it's settled, you're like, oh, thank God. Because, man, if I would have been stuck in the same, no. So, you know, there's just, like, a lot of things to be grateful for. And one of the things that I'm very grateful is that the way everything's turning out, you know, it's like I get a new start at life. And not a lot of people get that. I understand that not a lot of people get to be like, oh, I got a second chance at life. This is my second chance of life. And I'm going to make the best out of it. whether people like it or not. Whether I get told like, oh, you're so mean. I get that a lot. I get a lot of like, you're so rude. Why would you? And I'm like, well, do you want me to lie to you? Do you want me to lie to you, or do you want me to be honest? You know, what do you want, babe? What do you want? But yeah, I mean, it's good to be strict. It's good to have boundaries, know your values, and live life. Live life, because you only have one life. And what are we going to do? Are we going to be miserable over whatever has happened to us? Are we going to be miserable of like our past? No, you can't live. When one thing I also learned is like, it's happened. Things happen and you have to move forward. And when I was like at a very low place, people would tell me that, like, Joanna, you gotta move forward. Because people that were close to me during that time, they saw how low I got. Like, I didn't go into the lowest of the lowest, where people in my environment, they were just like, dude, like, we lost. Like, everybody kept telling me, like, we lost you, dude. Like, we lost you. Like, we lost you. And I did. I did not look like now. I tell people, I'm like, I tell my mom, I'm like, child, like, this is not me. None of this is me. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do this without God. Like, I give God so much credit, because I'm just like, no, like this, like, everything works out. I wake up calm, I'm happy, I'm cool, calm, and collective. I'm just like filled with so much gratitude each and every day, with so much joy. And I'm just like, thank you. Thank you, God. So I want to say thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.